Tonight, taking flight, Rex announces new services in Port Augusta. And fighting back, West Whyalla takes out the footy grand final to become undefeated premiers for the second season in a row.
This is Southern Cross News with Fraser Goldsworthy.
Good evening, thanks for joining us. Rex has taken to the skies in Port Augusta, with its first passengers touching down in the town this morning. The airline has announced it'll operate 3 services between Adelaide and Port Augusta every week.
As Port Augusta's old airline flew out, a new one flew right in. From today, Rex Airlines will be a frequent flyer to Port Augusta, linking the region to Coobapedy and Adelaide.
But we see a huge potential for tourism as well, and especially with our flight linking up with Coobapedy. So it really gives the passengers a gateway, I guess, to come in and see Port Augusta and the Flinders Ranges, but also to head on and they can go and visit Coobapedy as well.
After Sharp ceased their flights to Adelaide in May, airport staff say they're ecstatic to see Rex fill the gap.
It's the first flight. We've already got people flying from Port Augusta to Coobapedy on day one. It's just a dream.
With a flight to Adelaide taking just under an hour, the Mayor says the new service is good news for the region.
All the announcements we've had in the last 3 weeks, and this just further complements us and, of course, the support and the external perception of us. And people are willing to make the investment in Port Augusta and in the Upper Spencer Gulf region. So we thank Rex for doing just that.
And it won't be long before he's on board himself.
In the past, I've had to, unfortunately, fly into Whyalla with Rex, but now I'll be doing it from Port Augusta without a doubt. I'll be making sure that I'll board on here and actually get down to Adelaide.
After a smooth maiden flight, Rex says its launch here has been a resounding success. It says if it receives more customers at the check-in desk, there might be room for more services.
It's starting out with the 3 at the moment, but certainly we'd love the community to support the service, and if we can grow it, that's definitely what we'd love to do in the future.
Amelia Simpson, Southern Cross News.
Whyalla has been earmarked to become an exporter of hydrogen as part of the state government's roadmap to become a major supplier of the fuel. The local member says Point Benithan has the infrastructure and experience to handle the task.
It's one half of what we drink, but hydrogen is also fast emerging as the fuel of the future. It's produced through electrolysis, which mixes electricity and water to create a non-emitting gas. The state government is keen to capitalise on that, releasing its hydrogen roadmap last week.
Small exports come 2020. The large-scale industry is going to take some time, but there's a number of small steps on the way.
Mr Hughes wants Whyalla and the surrounding region to take a leading role, with the town home to a number of clean generators and an export facility at Port Benithan. He says we're a perfect fit.
The great advantage for Whyalla is that we're at the intersection of a massive wind resource that is barely tapped on the Eyre Peninsula. And we've got the export facility here at Whyalla to do that at Port Benithan.
The next challenge facing the government is finding a way to produce hydrogen using renewable energy in a cost-effective way. If successful, Whyalla would be in a position to secure a majority of the 4,000 jobs expected to be created.
A significant number of those jobs will, in all probability, end up in a regional area like Whyalla. And Whyalla's got a very strong industrial base.
John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
Police are investigating if arson is to blame for yet another house fire in Broken Hill, this time in the city's west. Firefighters were called to the home on Gypsum Street around 5 o'clock on Friday afternoon to find the home well alight. It suffered significant damage inside, however no one was home at the time. It's the third property to be destroyed by fire in the town in the last 2 months. The Transport Department will slash the speed limit on 8 country roads across the state in a bid to reduce accidents. 3 of those roads within the Spencer Gulf region will have their limits reduced from 110 to 100 kilometres an hour, but critics have labelled it as a cheap fix.
A difference of just 10 kilometres an hour. The Transport Department says that's all it'll take to reduce road casualties by 27%.
The department have identified 8 roads with a speed limit of 110 kilometres an hour in the state. which we believe will benefit from being reduced down to 100 kilometres an hour. This will have road safety impacts, so that the aim is to make the roads as safe as possible.
The department will slash the speeds of 8 roads deemed to be high risk, 3 of them falling within our region: Andamuka Road, Cleve Road near Kimber and Goyder Highway near Crystal Brook. With the reduction, there's also an increase in travel time. 5 to 10 minutes will be added onto every hour, but the department says it's the most cost-efficient way to reduce road deaths.
There are other methods we could use, including resealing and shoulder sealing on roads, as well as splitting roads so that they're dual carriageway. This costs hundreds of millions of dollars for some roads.
Member for Grey, Rowan Ramsey, criticised the state government, saying they're skimping on improving the roads.
If this is the serious issue, that's the issue that should be fixed, and not trying to slow us all up and put that impediment on our life. Now, we could talk about the individual roads. There's 3 affected in Grey in this particular round.
The changes will take place by the end of the year. Amelia Simpson, Southern Cross News.
Well, still to come in tonight's local news, all the glitz and glamour from the weekend's Broken Hill Festival. Stay with us. Welcome back. Port Lincoln's Mayor Charity Concert has proved once again to be a great success for another year. The town's young talent put on a night full of singing and dancing, all in the name of charity.
Far from this opera forevermore.
What better way to encourage local talent than to show it off on a big stage?
To have these emerging talents being able to strut their stuff in front of a big audience is really important.
There were big smiles, songs and plenty of flair from the next generation of talent as the town turned out for the annual Mayor's Concert.
The youth are exposed to a big audience on our big stage, so it's very special for them and it's very special for me.
The White Ribbon Foundation was the recipient from money raised at the event.
Really pleased to be able to find a really worthwhile cause that does need to be promoted and the issues exposed.
Another local ambassador, Ivan Phillips, he spoke about the loss of his daughter, a victim of domestic violence, after she was murdered by her partner in 2007. He hopes his story will inspire change and save lives.
The loss of a child under any circumstances is a parent's worst nightmare, but to know that it was a premeditated act of cruelty which could have been avoided was and still is completely unfathomable.
Although there were no awards, the concert proved a big hit, with the Mayor keeping his eye on Port Lincoln's future stars.
We've got a couple of young people who are absolutely fantastic.
Jason Kemp, Southern Cross News.
The streets of Port Pirie came to a halt over the weekend for the annual Blessing of the Fleet. The historic event coincided with the celebrations for the grand opening of the redeveloped foreshore, bringing an electric atmosphere to the town.
Since 1929, this procession has become a staple in Port Pirie's events calendar.
We could never imagine that bringing the statue of La Madonna de Marte down to the foreshore could turn out to be so successful.
Participants remembered the Italian immigrants who passed, unveiling a plaque recognising the challenges the Molfetta community once faced, before the Lady of Martyrs was taken to the waterfront to bless the seas, praying for the safe return of all fishermen. Over 40 produce stalls lined the car park as a part of the grand opening of Port Pirie's redeveloped foreshore. Plenty of fun was had by all in the new picnic area.
Been busy the whole time, there's been no lull, so that's definitely a good sign, and the weather helps too.
The atmosphere here on the waterfront here is just absolutely electrifying, and I would hope that they have the Blessing of the Fleet here again next year, and this is absolutely fantastic.
Organisers are positive the tradition of celebrating Blessing of the Fleet in Port Pirie will continue for many years to come.
This result today of this wonderful crowd and this wonderful idea coming to the foreshore has certainly rejuvenated, reinvigorated the whole tradition of the Blessing of the Fleet Festival.
Rachel Nell, Southern Cross News.
Well, the third annual Broken Hill Festival has been hailed an overwhelming success, with hundreds of festival goers converging on the Silver City. There was glitz and glamour right across the weekend, with performances combined with iconic costumes, making for a fabulous event.
Life in Broken Hill is never a drag. The Palace Hotel awash with drag kings and queens, locals and tourists all letting their hair down in celebration of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. It all got underway on Friday night before the Saturday street parade to the town square. Once night fell on the Saturday, the party got started. The costumes were sparkling, the performance was scandalous, and glitter was everywhere you looked.
Fabulous. I think every night we saw growth from our previous years.
There was a wide variety of acts to keep people entertained, from seductive seducers to a bright and colourful food show. But the top billing went to the ever-talented Trevor Ashley, who hit some incredible bars, bringing the crowd to their feet. His performance of a well-known James Bond song was dazzling. Around 900 people packed into the Palace Hotel on Saturday night alone, and there were smiles all around. Although it was only in its third year, the Broken Hill Festival has quickly established itself as a major drawcard for the Silver City. Hundreds and hundreds of festival goers have converged here on the Palace Hotel for what has been a great 3 nights.
So many people coming up to me telling me, oh, I can't wait till I come back and I'm bringing my friends or bringing my family, or my friends have been telling me they're coming, they're so jealous they're not here. So I think we're going to see, a really big step into our fourth year.
Patrick Reinke, Southern Cross News.
When we return after the break, the grand final footy wrap-up from our reporter in Whyalla. Stay with us. Welcome back. Well, West Whyalla are undefeated premiers for a second successive season after taking out Centrals in the grand final on Saturday. But it took a 7-goal final term to avoid what was shaping as the biggest grand final upset in a decade. John Hunt joins us now with the details. John, what an extraordinary match.
Fraser, it's one of the best grand finals the city has ever seen, with West now unbeaten in 34 matches. But for 3 quarters, Centrals looked set to spoil the party until the class of West shone through. After some early jousting, West kicked the first 3 goals of the game and looked set for a big day. But Centrals turned it around, kicking 7 goals to lead at the first change by 25 points. Ruckman Nick de Jong dominated, and the pacey Roosters forward line ran amok, while West looked rattled. Centrals led by 39 points at one stage in the second term, before late West goals cut the lead to 23 at half-time. An arm wrestle of a third term saw Centrals extend its lead to 25 at the final change, and it looks set to cause a boil-over. But West are undefeated for a reason, and kicked 7 goals in the final term to overrun a tied Roosters midfield. The team's best players shone through at the right time, with Nathan Grisona sealing the win. It was ecstasy for the Dragons at the Siren and agony for Centrals. Its 19th premiership was also doubly sweet, as they went past their opponents as the comp's most successful team.
I knew we were obviously the fitter side over the 4 quarters. We just needed to play on at all costs. It was pretty simple. We basically put all the big guns in the middle, no rotation.
It's also finals time across the region, with a major upset in Port Lincoln footy. Wayback came from behind to defeat minor premier Mallee Park by a solitary point to move through to the grand final. Mallee Park now faces Marble Range in a cutthroat prelim next week. In Spencer Golf footy, South Augusta are through to the grand final after an upset win over minor premier Solomon Town. Sollies will face Prop Risdon in the prelim after they had a comfortable win over West Augusta in the elimination final. In Northern Areas footy, 5 from Chris Elliott helped Broughton Mandurah to a 48-point win over Orroroo in the preliminary final. And on the York Peninsula, the Crows had a tight win over Munter and will play Kadina in the decider next Saturday. So what a remarkable weekend of footy across the region. Once again, congratulations to West. 2 back-to-back undefeated premierships is a remarkable achievement. Netball and soccer are also wrapping up their seasons, and I'll bring you those results tomorrow night.
Look forward to it, John. Thank you. John Hunt in Whyalla there. Well, it was a vintage motorcycling enthusiast's dream in Broken Hill over the weekend. The 2017 Classic Motorcycle Show rolled into town, and it didn't fail to draw plenty of bike lovers through the door.
Nortons, Harleys, Triumphs, Vincents and so many more. Presented by the veteran Vintage and Classic Motorcycle Club of Broken Hill, the 2017 motorcycle show had a bit of a hiccup before it even started.
Our biggest problem was changing the venue, because it was always at the Civic Centre, and that was always, the setting was always there.
So it was moved to the former Dalgetty's building in Glen Street.
Come here and it was just a basic warehouse, and that was the whole problem. We had to sort of pretty it up a little bit, so we spent quite an amount of time here.
And their work showed. The warehouse put the best of the city's classic motorcycles on show, the oldest of which was this 1922 Harley Davidson. Only half of the collection was on display due to the tight space. It didn't stop plenty of enthusiasts coming by and checking out what was on display and swapping a few stories.
I was talking to quite a few guys today that are actually locals and aren't members of our club, but all got about 3 or 4 bikes, and one's got 12 bikes just on his own. He's not even a member, so I would love to know how many is in Broken Hill. It's just unbelievable.
Patrick Reinke, Southern Cross News.
The annual Croquet Gala Day has gotten underway in Port Pirie, but this year's event is a little different. It'll be the last to be held at the bowling club before it undergoes a major redevelopment.
One last stroke to say goodbye. The Croquet Club is hosting its annual Gala Day for the last time in the old facility today, before it undergoes its first ever upgrade since it was first built almost 100 years ago.
It involved bulldozing all the greens and relaying them and putting a new clubhouse in for us.
The upgrade comes as a part of Port Pirie Council's redevelopment of the sports precinct. The club now expecting to host more events in the future. Money will be saved with the installation of synthetic greens.
Saves about thousands of dollars on water rates and a lot on mowing.
20 people from across the region are competing against each other to take out the Gala Day title. Players hit their balls through 12 different hoops in the correct order, the winner then hitting the peg.
We've got 9 from Kadina here today, yes. We follow the tournaments a fair bit, especially Gala Days, where it helps clubs out.
Players say the new greens will take a little bit of getting used to, but it's hoped the improved turf will draw more players to the club.
Hopefully when they get their new courts here that things will really change, and yeah, it'll be great.
The upgrade is expected to be finished by summer, just in time for the next tournament. Rachel Nell, Southern Cross News.
Stay with us after the break, a check of the local weather. Welcome back to the weather now. A warm day across the region, 31 with cloudy skies in Port Augusta, 30 in Whyalla, 22 in Port Lincoln, 28 in Broken Hill, 23 for the capital, Adelaide. Cloud across southern Australia with a series of troughs is producing showers as well as a few storms in southeast WA and western SA. Clear skies elsewhere under a high. On waters, winds will be north to northwesterly between 15 and 20 knots, shifting south to southeasterly 10 to 15 knots during the afternoon. Seas up to 1.5 metres with a south-southwesterly swell. The sun will rise at 6:25 and set at 6:08 p.m. 29 tomorrow for Port Augusta, 25 in Whyalla, 19 with the chance of some showers in Port Lincoln, rain about in Woodner too with a top of 22, 32 and a windy day in Broken Hill, sunny in Port Pirie, 24 the top. On the outlooks now, temps will drop slightly as the week progresses. A wet and windy Wednesday, 15 the top. Cloud about on Thursday for all centres, a top of 18 in Woodner. Finding up for Friday, 19 in Cleve. Some midweek showers in Whyalla, 17 degrees before things clear up by Friday. A sunny week in Port Augusta, 23 on Friday. Some showers and cloudy skies over the next few days in Kadina, 16 on Thursday. It'll cool down on Wednesday in Port Pirie, just 15 degrees with some rain as well. It shall warm up to 21 by the end of the working week though. Cold in Clare, just 11 on Wednesday, but clear skies on Friday. Temps will drop right back over the week. In Broken Hill, 18 on Thursday, but with clear skies. Regulars to the Port Lincoln Marina may have noticed a new arrival. 3 eggs in an osprey nesting saw a chick hatch over the weekend. By the looks of things, Mum, Bub and Dad are all doing well, but no word yet on whether the other 2 eggs have hatched. Thanks to Janet Forster for these pictures. And just a reminder before we go tonight, our television services in Tumby Bay and Port Lincoln will be off air on Tuesday the 12th of September between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. as we continue urgent repairs to the transmitter tower. We apologise for any inconvenience this may cause. And that's the local news this evening. Thanks for your company. I'll have updates later. Until then, have a wonderful evening. Good night.